What is up, everybody? JG603 here, owner and operator of TSW Wrestling. We got some hot power rankings coming in just a few moments here, but we do have something to touch on, of course. You guys checked out this Thursday's Throwdown, and if you didn't, I don't know why you're here. Go check that video out first, but JG603 a little inconspicuous by his in-ring absence. Well, there's a very good reason why. As right here, right now, I'm calling him out. Afterburn Big, the creator himself. You've been messing around here the last couple weeks after the big win at War Games, I'll give you that, but you can't take over TSW without a little bit of friction against you. So I'm thinking next week, No Mercy live from Atlanta, GA. What you gonna say? Well, what I do say is you versus me one-on-one. Casket match. The only way to win is to close the lid to that casket, essentially burying your opponent alive. Challenge is out. Looking forward to hearing back from you there, sir. But without further ado, guys, I do bring to you the TSW 25 Hot Power Rankings Acciones. Let's get it locked in, loaded right at the gate here. You can immediately see some of the guys from last time's rankings tumbling down ever so slightly. Little inactivity here by Luchador and one Mr. Benjamin. No fault of their own, of course. Tony's been a little bit out. DT keeps getting pinned. Frosty, bounced last week as well. And Prodigy been injured out currently, indefinitely to our knowledge, following a vicious attack at the hands of Joker. But let's get into the outside looking in type situation here at number 40. I'm gonna pair these two together real quick. Hanging on by a goddamn thread. We've got Do Not and B Sanders, of course, former tag team champions. Been a little quiet recently, but you gotta think it's just a matter of time before they re-emerge and make a name for themselves in the tag team division. Of course, also, if you guys missed it, the trios titles are on their way. So maybe, just maybe, the Legion of Boom has one more trick up their sleeve. Dropping 2 spots, 36 here to 38. We got Retro Yimmy, great showing in the open challenge against the Universal Champion. Had a great history, always looks great in the ring. We could have probably bumped it back a little bit more, but I'll be honest, the top 40 is very tight right now, maybe even 45. Then it gets a little dicey when we get to the back, 12, 15 in the roster. Pay-per-views, though, always a great chance to reset things here in TSW. Talking about a reset, and despite a loss, debuting at 37 here, we got Kopaknerk. Looked good in that tag match. DT did take the pinfall. Loss is what it is there. Not sure if that you can really put Kopaknerk on that one, but looking good so far. Excited to see what's next for him and put him right there. Of course, his other half, so to speak, the Kapnerk to the Kopaknerk, because Kapnerk, big win over Emma. Not a huge jump in the rankings despite that, because of course Emma has been kind of speckled, history checkered as of late. Some wins over some not so great competitors, frankly, and big match. Looked pretty good against Cap, who did one Emma, who we'll certainly see later in these rankings. But Kapnerk is the one we're talking about here. Former champion in multiple divisions. Yet to hold the tag gold. Maybe, just maybe. Eye on those trees as well, though. Kopak, DT, DT2 certainly going on towards the those trios titles in that grouping. Talking about tag teams, the big drop here, by the way, from 26 way back to 35 is our guy Sap Daddy. Lost a little bit in the shuffle when he's not in action. He's kind of paired up the Sap and Clap connection right now, but we'll talk about this later. Clap, of course, a big win in singles competition. What does that mean for Sap? Of course, Sap there ringside being a manager for one Johnny Claps in that matchup, but you got to think that maybe Sap wants something for himself. Of course, Sap certainly not anywhere close to a cruiserweight or a BMI, so he's smack dab in the middle of the heavyweight division, so we'll see what's next for that fella. But real quick, guys, make sure you use code JG603, 20% off Rogue Energy. Fantastic stuff, man. It gets you moving. Long night early. I mean, I tell you what, we were up way too late watching that farce of a Tyson Paul fight, so we need the energy today. Shout out Rogue. Oh yeah, that'll get you right. Moving right along. Former 2-time tag team champion moves up just 1 spot. Not in action officially. Was at ringside for Swain's match with Deekster, though. I can assure you, keep an eye on this Chris Swain right now. And of course, Chico, we can confirm. Chico, Chris Swain, and of course Swain trios action versus Deke and 2 tag team partners at pay-per-view. Possible #1 contendership for those trios titles right there. You know, we're not crowning the titles this week, but December will be one to remember. Moving back, this is a big jump, only due to inactivity, and this is not, you know, this is one that did hurt me a bit. We got Finn dropping back 7 spots, not really fair. You know, he's been doing his great job as the manager right now, but we can assure you, Finn will be in action this week. He will be in a form of a BMI #1 contendership match, which is going to be ever so interesting, as there's a chance he's either going to be stepping in instead of Landmark against Brandon at the next cycle, or we could see some triple threat action, as there's every possibility here that Landmark wins back the title, becomes a 3-time champion, and we got a triple threat with Finn and Landmark. There's a lot. I'm interested to see how that plays out right now. I love this BMI storyline. Another storyline I am loving, and we are dying to see how it plays out. Moving up 2 spots to site, not technically having a match, but should have had one. We're talking Chef Jay Ruiz attacked backstage. I want to hear some predictions of, hey, I really haven't had any yet. What happened here? Is this Beatcott related? Is this congregation infighting? Is this Dargantics? Is this something completely separate altogether? You never know in TSW. A little good old-fashioned whodunit, baby. But Chef, always gonna get on the card. Love me some Chef Jay Ruiz. Moving right along here. Big drop this week, but someone who can always rise and fall as the tides do, you know. We got Emma going from 22 to 31. Was on a great run there. I think a win over Cap would cement a one-on-one shot against Dargan at pay-per-view, which, by the way, we didn't mention this. Kapner getting that win where Emma was in that position. Kapner getting that position. Kapner will be fighting Dargan at No Mercy in some aspect. That will not be a singles match. I can assure you that. Dargan, as hardcore champion, we gotta make you earn that thing. Boxy did a lot with that title. We gotta make you do a lot with it too. Talk about someone who did a lot with arguably nothing. We're talking Z-Rock going unranked up to the 30 spot here. Count out victory, you know, but looked good doing so. Cut some weight back into the heavyweight division. Looked fresh out there. Looked fresh, you know, beat a champion. I think Z-Rock's the guy who certainly has earned himself a possible shot at gold here. So, you know, maybe that's involved with Dargan. Maybe Z-Rock's got a tag team in mind. Maybe he wants to do something else here in TSW. But Z-Rock's definitely someone to keep an eye on here, as he's going to start to build some momentum, hopefully following that win over Brandon. And talking about Momentum City, someone's out of place and not in the right spot. But you know what? Honestly, I think assuming that the numbers flopped where they did, I think we can work with this. Coming here, okay, so no, it was just a 1 flip. It was a 1 flip. We did mess just a 1 flip here. So we're gonna flip this live on air here, baby. Not gonna edit that out, because why the hell not? Only a quick little error there. We got Craigie staying pat at 29. Not enough to rise, not enough to fall. Was set for a matchup before the last minute brawl there. Craigie, again, someone who's always gonna get these opportunities. Love me some Craigie. What's next for him? Tune in soon, because we do have some things coming up. For one, Craigie there, and you guys did see we got Shrades here from 32 up to 28. Big tag team win there. Either the tag team division, possibly the trios. I think these two are certainly a slot in there. You know, maybe they pick back up Emma again. I know Rowdy certainly is eyeballing a singles run as well, possibly, but you know, they did get a big tag win. We're gonna push that a little bit, but this is a team that I think will always be separate but together, at least for the time being. Rowdy, of course, bumped to 1 spot ahead of him. Same thing, jumped up the same number of spots, but Rowdy, Shrades haven't gotten a lot done in singles competition. No marquee wins in the tag division in TSW, but again, TNA tag champions on the resume. Talking about tag champions, just outside the top 25, going for 27 to 26. We're talking Chico, of course, one half of the bad guys, now part of the Beatcott faction that is forming, percolating here in TSW. Chico, 1 spot bump, wasn't officially in action, but you know, I love his history. He is out here with Swain, who will be in tag team action at pay-per-view. And let's get moving, guys, into the TS25 top 25 here with my man, Yashio. Dropping back 1 spot despite the loss. Really good showing against Dargan, though, and I've really loved what I'm seeing out of Casio. Really showing up in these matches, man, showing a lot of love too for TSW, which, you know, will always get you a little bit of extra action here and then the land of the sweets, so to speak. But much love to our guy Casio. Tough loss to Dargon this week, very close on a couple spots there, but Casio, one of these guys who will always get some opportunities here. We love our man, the Drum Factory himself. And now this one's a bit surprising. Going from 30 up to 24 despite not in action, but somewhat in action. We're talking AJ here. Of course, running off the Hollywood Express, who we'll talk about in a little bit, do have a tag team title shot in their very near future. Big title win over the Powers of Pain, which actually was a really good match, by the way. Sometimes you book something and you're like, yeah, this could go. That was a really, really good match, and I loved what I saw there. But AJ showing some love there to the Powers of Pain. You know, of course, AJ, fellow Lions fan, but also certainly shared hatred for One Up and Adam and CJ Sauce, the Sauce Boss. But you also have to think, too, depending what's next in these next couple weeks, months now, Powers of Pain do need to get some wins going again, but we talk trios titles, and I wouldn't be shocked to see if AJ doesn't get back in the singles competition, that he could easily slot right in there along some fellow Lions fans and maybe make a push for some separate gold here in TSW. Former champion and AJ, former champion in Deekster, dropping back just 2 spots here. Good showing against Swain. I think the numbers game kind of got the best of him. Again, we'll be in a trios match, a pay-per-view, as we mentioned. Interesting to see what Deekster pulls out in the bag of tricks here. What the Boomers got going, because you know, that's going to be a big matchup when we talk about possibly the first set of trios champions in TSW. We talk about the first champions in TSW, and we talk about AJG603 moving up a spot, inactive, but I think it's a situation where not a lot of people got a lot of big wins this week, and sometimes not wrestling can benefit you in TSW, as we've already seen a little bit in the previous rankings. We as you heard earlier, we have issued a challenge to Afterburn for a casket match at pay-per-view. I'm gonna assume he's gonna accept that, right? It'd be kind of weird not to. I'm the one booking it. So JD's got that matchup. That's going to be a big one. Still kind of caught up with this whole Creators of Pain, Apocalypse, Disciples situation, but we like to mention every once in a while, don't you guys forget that in a rainy day in a tight spot, JG603 does still have his rematch clause from losing that title to Animal. What now feels like a lifetime ago, because man, time in TSW flies by, because time flies when you're having fun. And talking about flying, we're talking we're talking the Peacock DJ and Jay Swan. Those two got to be flip-flopped only because Swanee did take the pin. When we're splitting hairs, that's how close we got to get. Good run for the Birds here. I liked a lot of what I seen out of them. Bad timing, I think, where you know, the B-Cop, the Disciples, the Creators taking a little bit of power, forcing my hand a bit, and I think 2-on-2, there's a decent chance that they retain against the Clap and Sap connection, absolutely. But they don't. The Disciples win. They lose the rematch, Hell in a Cell. Fantastic match, by the way, in Hell in a Cell. DJ looked good in that. By the way, the match ended with DJ and Ross still battling on top of the cell. Don't you think that is lost in the weeds here? Because that is certainly going to be coming back in the very near future, especially now that DJ's kind of falling back a little bit. But DJ and Swanee. So Swanee, multiple times singles champion. Multiple times. Certainly going to be diving right back into that, a swan dive back into that division, if I do say so myself. I think whether it's the hardcore or cruiserweight division, Swanee and DJ for that matter, it's just a matter of time between these two. If they want to get back in the tag title scene, absolutely. The trios titles, be my guest. If they got someone you want to team with, I like these guys a lot. I think they got a lot of good things going their way, and few people have things going their way in TSW quite like, actually, ironically, should have things going their way. We're talking Miss JG. Tough loss this week. Someone got bumped from the rankings. Of course, former tag team partner here. A lot of shenanigans and tomfoolery, chicanery in the Twitch community, which, you know, unfortunately from time to time, we got to do things in TSW to change that. So Miss JG now alone, but has that tag team title rematch. So we have questions here, right? Who's Miss JG's tag team partner going to be? Is it going to be someone we already got? Is it going to be somebody new? And most importantly, who attacked backstage? Was it Beat Cop? Was it someone related to Miss JG? Someone related to the former tag partner? And we've seen those attacks backstage before from multiple people, some connected, some not. But it's gonna be really, really interesting to see what goes on here in that women's tag division. And we talked about him earlier. I don't like that he's above me in the ranking, but staying here, Pat at 18, of course, follow the red. We're talking Afterburn, the creator, the man behind pretty much everything we're looking at here, abstract or otherwise. Big match of this pay-per-view. I'm nervous. He's probably not nervous because he's literally got as much power as a man can have. No one man should have all that power, as a terrible philosopher once said. But excited to see what's next for Big, not only at pay-per-view, but going forward here, because no matter what happens at pay-per-view, this is certainly not something that's going away anytime soon. Talking about can't get rid of him. I can. We're talking up and Adam, and we're just going to slap him right in here with CJ Sauce Boss. Adam from 31 to 17, a huge jump, and CJ does jump up 4 spots here. Of course, they are now confirmed to be #1 contenders for the tag team titles in some aspect, but, against the Disciples, I'm not sure that's really a situation you want to be in. But Adam, some great showing, singles competition, technically tag team debut here. Like what I'm seeing from Adam, another guy, dude. I'll say this a lot. I like the guy. I want to see more of him. Same thing with CJ, former Universal Champion, losing the rematch. Big Time's been looking good with that title, though, I tell you what. But CJ, really good debut, really good first couple months. Fell back a little bit, but I'm liking the resurgence here in the firm tag team division with the Hollywood Express here at 15 as we get down to the nitty-gritty here. And guys, I'll be honest, I don't feel too good about it. Again, every once in a while, we swapped a couple spots, but honestly, these two work. Yeah, they're where they thought we were. Coming in here at 15, we've got Animal, former heavyweight champion. And, he does have that rematch clause. He's about to fight for the title this week. 15, probably a little harsh. You know what I'm saying? Good brawl, good showings lately. But the people ahead of him have just been on another level for one reason or another. But needless to say, Animal's jump into the top 5, 6, 7 easily if he's able to take down the Girth, the King, Thick Shed on pay-per-view. And here coming in at Animal, just ever so slightly of a change from 13 back to 15. We got Swain Games big riser here up to 14 from 19. So of course, Swain, big win over Deekster. We mentioned the trios titles coming up. We mentioned Swain Games kind of in passing with the other rankings, so I don't think there's a lot to touch on here. Besides just to say, big match coming this week. BCOT looking to make an impact again in TSW. Number 13, dropped 1 spot. Inactive, big matches coming though. Of course, the tag team title scene, talked about that a lot. We got Miss Hudat, former women's champion, former tag team or current tag team champion, 2-time tag champ as well. So Miss Hudat, big match coming. Of course, couldn't get the job done there. The Saints were coming into New Orleans, Louisiana, but instead going to march into Georgia. Fittingly enough, where the Falcons play hostile territory, so to speak, there to defend those tag team championships. And when we talked about Animal being back so far, it's a guy like this that puts him there. No #1 contendership to be seen. Beat Hardcore Holly. Nice showing this week, too, by one Boxy. Here at 12, Boxy dropped Mac a couple spots out the top 10 for the first time in literally a month plus. Done with the Hardcore title. But I can assure you this, if you guys are fans of Boxy, you are not going to want to miss this pay-per-view, as we have something very special for one Boxy, the ladies' man, dancing nerder man, in a city near you. Here at 11, we got Bama staying pat. Bama did get a win this week. Really thought about bumping up in that top 10, but again, you'll see the top 10. It's a hot one. It's a hot one right now, but of course, we're talking Bama, first person to hold the women's singles and tag champs in your GSW. People be sleeping on that. You forget about it. A big win for Bama, of course, defend the title this upcoming week. Now, number 10, controversy. We're gonna put LBJ. This one was tough, really tough. Former champion, has his rematch clause, gets the +1, still in the top 10. Great showing as Cruiserweight champion, greatest Cruiserweight champion to date, undoubtedly, not even a question, frankly. Love what I saw at LBJ there. Dropping from 5 here to 10. Rematch against the new Cruiserweight champion, Johnny Clapp, at pay-per-view. That will be one-on-one match. We will make sure that has all the pomp and circumstance that it deserves. LBJ could be a 2-time champion alongside Swanee in the Cruiserweight division, or maybe something else is coming for LB. We're going to find out. real soon. And someone that we were flopping back here with the 10, the 9, the 10, the 9, the 10, the 9. We got Landmark here, the big boss ham. Did you know, drop back 2 spots, but again, in a case where, you know, certainly Clap jumped him, certainly among some others here. But Landmark, fantastic showings. Big brawl, exploding the ring to end the show, and he stood tall to end that show. He's going in to Atlanta, Georgia, 30 minutes from Cobb County, Georgia. Main event, looking to be an unprecedented 3-time. Only one other person has been a 3-time singles champion, that's Boxy. Landmark could join Rarefied Air. Already chiseled them out on Mount Rushmore, but this solidifies things. Big week for Landmark. And the thing is too, man, a loss for Landmark, it's almost like a Boxy situation where it's like, don't worry, we got something for you. Moving right along, mentioned him a few times, big jump this week from 25 up to 8. The Clap Daddy, baby, the outlaw himself. Big shocker, cut some weight, dropped to the cruiserweight division. I mean, yeah, the height was there, but you know, dropped a little bit of muscle mass. He was pretty girthy, and he looked good doing it, man. A little bit high flying around the ring. If he finished there, rolling up LBJ, but you stop a man like LBJ, that is a big bump in my eyes here. Big rematch at pay-per-view here for Clap. Will he retain? We're gonna find out just what that BDE level is on pay-per-view. And don't get bigger than the energy of the tag team champions. Oh, those are swapped. I did not double check these as much as I thought. That's my bad, guys. I do apologize. Normally 1 or 2, but there's been a lot of those, and that's on me. I definitely, again, I could edit around this, but it's fine. We got Raw here and Joker. Joker did get the pinfall, so he's gonna get the edge out, even though Raw has the much more prolific history in TSW. But Raw and Joker, tag champs. They will be defending at pay-per-view. We know the Hollywood Express will be involved. We're not sure if that's going to be a multi-team match yet. Probably, likely, is what we're going to say. But, of course, BCOT's got a little bit of stranglehold on TSW, and they've got their first set of gold. Gotta think there's probably more on their mind. As I will say, if Burn beats JG, you gotta think Burn's earned himself a shot. And I hate that. I really do. But here they are, tag champs. Great Hell in a Cell match. Can't wait to see what's next. And of course, showing off already. There's Steph in at number 5. Set up for that match with Huggies. Primed, ready for action. Huggies didn't get the spot on the rankings, I'm now realizing, because I hadn't officially added her to the roster. We're 20 minutes in. I can't redo the whole video. I can't do it. I honestly can't do it. But you know what? At the very least, mentally right now, at the very least, if not higher, Kopak Nurk at 37, we easily could have gotten off for Huggies there. That is on me. The whole rankings will show my whole roster. Huggies is a newer addition and is not officially listed in the in-game roster yet. That's on me. That's a huge omission. I'm very sorry for that. Huggies definitely ranked though. I think I'm just Kopak. I'm very sorry, but we got to at least put Huggies in at 37. Going into next week, we will see if we can find a better spot where on the ranking, because I'm certain Huggies should have been higher up this list. You know, number contender for a championship, big debut, taking out Steph, big win over Awesome Kong. Huggies versus Steph, I can't wait to that, babe. I can't believe I messed that up, but again, if I didn't have stream in a few minutes, we probably would redo this. We really would consider it, but wow, yeah, bit of a botch here. A dicey week here for TSW, but you know what? We can only learn from our mistakes here. Up at 4, up from 6. We're talking Thick Ched, King Ched. Again, that render, just because the belt is on Thick Ched. King Ched was a different character. I screwed that up as well. Infinite wisdom. You learn things as you go here in TSW, here in WWE 2K24. But of course, King Ched. Title match against Animal in a rare case where the heavyweight championship is kind of below the BMI right now. Undoubtedly. Speaking of BMI, at 3. I hate to put him at 3, but did lose, count out or otherwise did lose this week. You can't be top ranked after a loss, regardless of how that loss came, but Brandon has been phenomenal on this new run as a singles competitor. I truly didn't think this man had it in him. Based on how he looked in tag match, I mean, he shined a little bit in that last one, where he was the last one standing on the 2v1 that tag match, you know, with him and Dargan as the ballers. Singles competition though, Brandon has been steamrolling. He's been incredible. He's been electric, but again, lost to Z-Rock, set primed for the main event versus Landmark, the top 2. From 3 up to 2, it's gonna be Dargan. I think it's fair. Big defense this week. Question marks about the backstage with Chef here, but you know, that'll certainly be found out in the upcoming weeks. But on paper, Dargon retained the title again. He's on a roll right now. I think if Brandon didn't lose that match, he's easily at number 2. Sorry, number 2, if not number 1. But right now, Dargon's on a bit of a roll. But we know he's got cap at pay-per-view, and I can assure you he's got a little bit more than that. We're gonna fill up that man's plate like he's at a golden corral, baby. And finally, you probably figured it out. El numero uno. It's got to be big time. There's no question in my mind. Again, Brandon losing this week. Dargon's been good, but not as good as big time, especially when you consider the history. The last 2 months, you got to keep in mind when you're doing these rankings as well. Big time's been phenomenal. Sir at ringside has really been stepping it up too. Kind of, you know, getting his nose to the grindstone, getting involved in these matchups. Big time. Open challenge after open challenge right now. Line him up, knock him down this pay-per-view. No mercy. We can confirm big time. Another open challenge. How's that going to turn out? I couldn't tell you, but we're going to find out in just 5 days time. Until then, guys, I've been JG603. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. Y'all been best. Y'all been too sweet. And I'll see you next time. Woo. Appreciate you. Bye.